Hey everyone, so we're going to do no equipment, pretty much a yoga flow today. I'm going to start off with some smaller movements to free up your lumbar, your thoracic spine and your legs, your hamstrings. And then we're going to do 2 flows, one on the ground, so just a flow or sequence of movements, and then one in standing. So we're going to start off in line. Bring your hands back to your lower rib cage. Allow your body to just let itself be supported by the floor so it's not bracing or gripping away from it. Try and let go of tension, especially around your lower back, your upper back, your head and neck. And then we're here for just 5 breaths. So bring your focus to your breath as you breathe in and notice that belly expand. And as you breathe out, notice it fall. And think of it like a continuous cycle of rise and fall. And you're going to try and stick with this pattern of breath throughout the session. And then we'll start off by bringing both knees into our chest, hands on the knees, and just give them a little bit of a circle around. Clockwise, you're going to go 5 circles. You're still doing your relaxed breathing, there's not much effort going into this movement. And then you change in direction. So this is just to mobilize kind of hips, pelvis area. And definitely lower back a little bit as well. Then you're going to keep your right knee into your chest, reach the left leg out long on the mat, and just do 3 circles in each direction with your right leg. And notice if it clicks or clunks, or if it's tight, or if it doesn't want to move. Don't force it. You can always do the circles out a little bit further if your hip doesn't like being in so close to your chest. And then swap. Straighten out the other leg, and 3 circles in each direction. So with these simple movements, you can still hopefully focus on keeping your breathing nice and relaxed. And breathing into the lower rib cage, belly area. Then bring in the knees to the chest, place the feet on the mat. I'm going to do a little bit of pelvic mobility, so that rocking motion on the pelvis. So I'm going to use my hands to mirror the movement of my pelvis. I'm going to rock towards the feet. Onto my tailbone, my lower back will lift away from the mat. And then I'm going to rock my pelvis towards my head and chest area, and my lower back will flatten. And just go on for 5 of these. Notice what it feels like, if it's an easy movement or if there's some discomfort or tightness. You're doing this movement with as little effort as possible, so make sure you are not squeezing your butt muscles as you roll back towards your head, and make sure you're not squeezing your tummy muscles either. Then bring yourself back to that middle ground, and you're going to shift your weight so it's all on the left side of your pelvis, or all your weight's in that left bum cheek. And you're going to do that exact same rocking motion. We did this in one of the earlier days on the left side. You're going to go for 5 or 6 repetitions here. So you're rocking towards your left sit bone, and then you're rocking up to the top of your left pelvis. Your hands can be relaxed on your belly. And you can try and match it with your breath. So as you breathe in, rock towards your feet, and as you breathe out, rock towards your head and chest. And then swap over to the right side, breathing in, rock the pelvis towards your feet, and breathing out, rock towards your head and chest. So breathing in, the lower back arches, and breathing out, the lower back flattens. And you're going for 4 or 5 more. Really good to release out the tight muscles that go from your pelvis to your lower back and to your rib cage. Then bringing it back to the center. Take your right knee into your chest, hold it just above the knee on your thigh. Keep your toes pointed and just straighten and bend the knee. And so this one to mobilize any tight hamstrings. And you're going for 2 or 3 more of these guys. And notice how it feels, notice if it's tight. And then the last one, straighten it all the way up and just pull your toes down towards your head and point your toes away. If you have a knee injury or a hamstring tendon issue near your knee, you can keep a slight bend in your knee while you're doing the foot movement one. It just puts more of a stretch on it when you pull the foot down. Cool, pop that guy back to the ground. Same thing other side, keep the toes pointed, it's less of a stretch. So it's a nicer way to ease your hamstrings into a stretch. And after about 8 or 9 of these guys, or 10, you're going to keep your legs straight. You can have a slight bend in the knee, that's fine, and you're going to point and flex the foot. Cool, popping the foot down, bring your knees back into your chest and just have a rock from side to side. So that's kind of our hips and lower back just worked through. And the last exercise we're going to do of these small kind of movements is going to be on our side. So have a roll onto your left side. If you've got quite wide shoulders or if your head prefers it, put a pillow under your head or a blanket. You're going to have your knees bent and your hands one on top of the other. You're going to keep the hands straight to start with. Just slide the top hand forward as far as it can go and then slide it back. Go for 6 of these first, so top hand stays straight. And we're just getting some movement in that kind of mid-upper thoracic area and your rib cage. And then if that feels okay, reach the hand forward, and this time as you pull it back, the hand keeps going up along the arm, the elbow bends, and your hand goes all the way across your chest. You're going to look over to the right. Reach the hand forward as far as it will go. Bring it back. Slide the hand all the way along your chest and turn over to the right. It doesn't matter if your right elbow doesn't reach the ground, just go as far as is comfortable for you. Hopefully it's getting a little bit further if you've done all the videos this week. And you're going for 3 more at your own pace. Again, you can just focus on the movement, or if you're able to, you can add in focusing on your breath, inhaling as you reach the hand forward, and then exhaling as you twist. Last 2. Cool, and then you can have a roll onto your other side. I'm going to move around to the other end of the mat so you can still see me. So you're on your right side, your head's on the pillow and your knees are bent. Your palms are one on top of the other. Slide the top hand forward, the top arm's going to stay straight, slide it back. And you're just going for 6 of these guys, just really isolating the movement in your upper back. You're going to try and keep that top leg still. If you're a little bit tight, you'll see it move quite a bit as well, because you're just tight down through the fascia. That attaches your rib cage to your hips and pelvis. And I definitely am on that side, because it won't stop moving. And then you're going to go into sliding the arm back. It comes all the way across your chest, and you turn to the left. With this bigger movement, it's okay to let your hips and legs move a little bit. Don't keep them pinned down. And you're going for another 6 of these guys. You can match your breath to the movement if you like. So an inhale as the arm slides forward, reaches forward. And an exhale as the arm slides back, pulls back. As you breathe in, think about your rib cage expanding. So especially on your breath in as the hand slides forward, think about the whole back of your rib cage expanding and opening up. And last one. Cool, from here we're going to come up onto all fours. Going to go into a cat-cow pose. So place your hands on the ground underneath your shoulders and your knees are going to be directly under your hips. We're going to just practice 5 cat-cow movements. So you're going to lift your tail, let your belly lower, head and chest lifts. And then chin to the chest, breastbone lifts up towards the ceiling, spine rounds as your tailbone points down. Tailbone lifts, almost like a little Mexican wave. Your lower back starts to drop, your chest starts to lift, your head starts to lift. Starting at the head, chin to the chest, breastbone lifts, spine rounds, tailbone tucks in. And I want you to go through about 3 more of these at your own pace with your breath. So using a breath out as you round or arch up towards the ceiling, and using a breath in as you lift your head and your tail. And really, the slower you do it, the better. Cool, then bringing yourself back into a child's pose. We're going to start our first flow. So I'm going to cue you through it about 3 times, and then I'm going to get you doing it on your own 3 times. I'll just do it, but I won't talk. Just so you get used to moving yourself and not always listening to instructions. So you're going to start in child's pose. Your knees will be under your hips. Start in child's pose, press up to all fours. And as you inhale, lift the head and the tail. Exhale to bring you back just to tabletop. Step your hands forward and bring the hips forward. On a breath out, you lower down, bending, keeping the elbows in close to your side. On a breath in, think about length through your spine as you lift your head and your chest into a little baby cobra. And then on a breath out, you're going to press through the hands. You're going to move back into that cat position so the back is arched, all the way back to child's pose. Cool, so starting again, on a breath in, we're going to come forward and we're going to transition into that cow pose, head and tail lifted. On a breath out, you're going to bring yourself to tabletop, walk your hands forward, bring your hips forward. On another breath out, elbows will stay tucked into the waist as you lower down. You're going to inhale, lift your head and chest. And then exhale, round your spine back into a child's pose. One more time, I'm going to cue. So we're going to go from our child's pose to our cow, head and tail lifted. We're going to go to tabletop, hands forward, hips forward, so you're in a plank. Lower down. You're going to lift the head and chest into your baby cobra. And then you're going to press through the hands around the spine back to your child's pose. We're going to do 3 more rounds. So child's pose, start moving with the pace of your own breath now. If you need a break in between rounds, you can just take 2 or 3 breaths in your child's pose and then start the round again. And 1 more round and we'll all finish up in child's pose. So do 1 more round at your own pace, or if you've already finished, just rest in child's pose and focus on your breath. Everybody coming into child's pose, your knees wide, your hands forward. You can now bring them back by your side. Let your hands just relax by the side of your body. And we're just going to take 3 deep breath cycles here. So breathing in, feel the belly, feel the back of the rib cage expand as well. And then breathing out, allow everything to rest into the ground. So your head is heavy, your upper body is heavy. And then bringing your hands forward, coming back to all fours, tuck your toes underneath. See if you can walk your hands and your feet forward towards the top of the mat. And then from here, the hands are at the top of the mat. Can you keep walking your feet forward? We're just going to come to standing at the top of the mat, so feel free to do it whichever way suits you. You don't have to do it my way. You're going to have a nice soft bend in your knees, relax the arms. We're going to press through the feet and just come up into standing. Cool. So we're going to start our second flow from a standing position, just to challenge your balance a little bit more. And again, same thing, I'll give you cues for about 3 rounds and then I'll let you off yourselves. So have a soft bend in the knees, press through the feet. You're going to inhale as you reach up. Exhale, arms come down across the body as you fold forward. A breath in takes you up into a halfway lift, so your hands are on your shins and it's like your back is parallel to the floor. On the next breath out, you're going to lower back down into your forward fold. A breath in is you're going to press through your feet, take yourself all the way up. Hands come in across the front of your chest as you reach up. Think about space and length through the sides of your rib cage in this pose. And then a breath out, bring your hands down to your chest. We're then going to shift our weight to the right foot. Take the left foot off the ground and just balance on your right leg. Slow and controlled, step the left leg back. Plant the ball of the foot, or if you have an issue with your toe or your foot, plant the whole foot at a little bit of an angle. So this first round is going to be slower, so find your balance. On a breath in here, you're going to take the left arm up, keep your right hand on your belly. And we're thinking about opening up through the front of the left side of the body, so all the way up through the left hip, through the left side, through the left arm. 3 breaths here, hand on the belly, so you can feel that belly lower rib cage expand. And breathe out, you can notice it soften and relax back. Then bring in the left hand down, ground through your feet, they're your stable base, and on an inhale, press into the feet as you reach both arms up overhead. It's almost like the thumbs are getting pulled back, and you're allowing the front of your chest to open a little bit. So imagine the front ribs allowing to open, separate slightly. And then bring the hands down, you're going to bend the elbows into your waist. You're going to hinge forward from your hips and reach the hands back nice and long. 3 breaths here. You should start to feel your right kind of bum hamstring working a little bit. And then from here, clasp the hands behind your back. Bring your torso upright if you can keep your balance. And think about opening up across the collarbones as the hands reach towards the floor. Bring the hands back to your hips. You're going to push off the back leg. If you can, you're going to balance on the right. Bring your left knee up to how we started and plant the foot back down. Let's have a go with the other side. So you're going to inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, you're going to come all the way up on your breath in, reaching the arms overhead. And then bringing your hands back to your chest. We're going to shift the weight to the left leg and balance on the left leg. Take the right leg up. Then slowly move the right leg back into our high lunge position. Or you can have the foot planted. Inhale, take the right hand up. So we're stretching through the right side of the body. 3 breaths here. Bring the right hand down. Inhale, both arms up. You can think about that breastbone, if there's a laser beam on it, lifting a little bit as the arms rise up. And then arms come down, they can bend, your arms stay by your side, you lean forward from your hips, reach the hands back. If you're able to, clasp your hands behind your back and bring your torso upright again. Think about opening up across your collarbones here. Then bring the hands to the sides of your hips, push off the back leg, and see if you can come to balance on that left leg once more. Plant both feet down, and we're going to go again. So this time back to the right leg. Inhale as you reach up. Fold all the way forward, chin to the chest. Let the hands dangle towards the ground. Come into a half lift. Fold forward. And then come all the way up. Arms overhead. You're moving with the pace of your own breath. I'm going to stop cueing it because it's easier to just cue your own breath. Stand on the right leg. Take the left leg back so you're in your high lunge. Use a breath to sweep the left arm up. And you're here for 2 or 3 breaths. Use a breath to sweep both arms up. And then arms come down by your side. You're going to hinge forward and reach the arms back. If it's an option for you, clasp the hands behind your back. Bring the torso back upright. Open up across the collarbones. Then bring the hands to your hips. Push off through the back leg to see if you can balance on that right leg. And plant the left foot. Moving to the next side, inhale, arms reach up. Use your breath as you fold forward. And on a breath, lift to halfway. Folding forward again. Pressing through the feet, coming all the way up, arms reach overhead. Bring your hands back to your chest. Balance on the left leg, right leg comes up. Send the right leg back. And then on your breath, reach an arm up. Hands come down. Use a breath to take both arms up. Arms come down by your side, hinge forward. And then clasp the hands behind your back if you can, bringing the torso upright. From here, hands go to the hips. Push through the back leg, come into standing on that left leg. Foot back to the ground. Going to try the last round not to cue. So see what you can remember. If you don't remember at all, it doesn't matter. I'll just give 1-word cues. So we're going into our forward fold. You're coming all the way up. And to balance on the right leg and step back. Left arm raises. Both arms raise. Arms come by side and lean forward. Arms behind back, torso comes upright. Hands to the hips, balance on the right leg. Plant the left leg down and going through the last round, see if you can do it yourself. You're starting with your forward fold and I'll be doing it on the video if you need to look up. The most important part is just moving with your breath. So every breath starts a movement. And when everyone's done, we'll just meet in standing at the top of the mat. Have your feet under your hips. Ground down through your feet, so feel the ball of your foot press into the mat and the outer heel. Soften the knees. And one last roll down, nod your chin to your chest, round your shoulders forward. And allow yourself to round down piece by piece as much as is possible. And just going as far as is comfortable. So you're not reaching for the floor, you're just letting your body slowly travel down towards it. When you're at the bottom, take 3 breaths here. You can also take a hold of your elbows. Just notice what your body feels like with regards to tension in the legs, in the back. Let the hands dangle. Really press through your feet. Keep the knees soft and start to round back up. Your head is the last bit to come up. Breastbone looking forward, collarbones open, and palms face forward. And you're all done.